Okay, so now that I have talked to everyone listening about the structure and some of the pros and cons about social groups for autistic adults that are run and moderated by autistic adults, I am going to bring as my special guests the moderators and attendees of a social group that is run by autistic adults and is for autistic adults, known as the MAC, that is based in Denver, Colorado. Please welcome these individuals as they talk about MAC, its structure, and the benefits that they have received by being a part of this social group for autistic adults.
Great. Thank you, James. And hello, Family Cafe folks. My name is Brian B. I'm an autistic artist in Colorado, USA, in the greater Denver area, and I help facilitate the Metro Autism Consortium. Xenia, would you like to say hello?
Hello, everybody down in the great state of Florida. I am Xenia Grant, and I live in the beautiful state of Denver, Colorado, and I am one of the co-founders of the MAC or Metro Autism Consortium, which started in the year 2019. And it's great, to see everybody. Well, eventually I'll virtually see you and just to say hi.
Thanks, Xenia. Afia Marie.
Hello. I am in the southern Four Corners part of Colorado, and I enjoy being able to communicate with people that understand what it means to be on the spectrum and get the help and resources needed so that we could all live happy, fulfilled lives.
Thank you. Chris.
Hello, dear friends. My name is Chris Patton, and I am in Denver, Colorado. I love MAC because it gives me an opportunity to express and to lead as an autistic, independent adult makes me feel purposeful, hug you friends, thank you for having me.
Awesome. So James, that's us. We've got from an original co-founder of the Metro Autism Consortium group, Xenia, to folks that have just been there 3, maybe 4 times so far. So a little bit of a range of some of us that go to this group. What's the first question?
So, tell me a little bit about MAC. What is MAC? And how was it created?
I'll answer that. It was created through the Autism Community Store as a support group for adults on the autism spectrum throughout Denver and all of Colorado. I mean, Alpha Maria lives in the Western Slope. So, since COVID, it definitely is all of Colorado. It's the Autism Community Stores in Aurora, which is the second biggest city in the state of Colorado. And it was started as a support group where people actually met each other. This was before COVID. And it was started so people with the autism can get to know each other better and talk about things that are near and dear to their hearts and issues that are important to them. And then, because the meetings are 2 hours long, and then have fun and games afterwards, because people like to have fun. Yes, we talk about serious topics, but also at the same time, we like to enjoy each other's company.
Thank you, Xenia. May I repeat that? It's going to be basically the same information, but may I answer the question as well? Okay. So MAC is a monthly light support group for autistic adults and their allies. That's something that we added in after it started, after it'd been around for a year. So light support group for autistic adults. We, as Xenia brought out, we began in the fall of 2019. It may have been towards the end of the summer. And then I came in later in the fall. And I helped facilitate it. I worked for Autism Community Store before MAC, and then continued to work at the store during the pandemic. But a lot of my duties shifted over to helping MAC stay around. AutismCommunityStore.com is in fact a store, a physical store with an address, also an online store. And also we do supports and resources there. What does MAC do? It does what Xenia said. It has a first half that's more about resources and support, and a second half that's more about fun and social connecting. That's my answer about what is MAC.
Thank you both. So you have established that MAC is comprised of autistic adults and their allies. However, it is clearly moderated and run by autistic adults. What benefits do you see that MAC is able to reap because it is an autistic adult run social group for autistic adults?
Yeah, I'd like to do that one, but can we pause first? Chris, did you have something that you wanted to add in? No? Okay. Just checking. Okay. Xenia, I'd like to describe how, James just called us a group led by autistic adults. I'd like to describe how that is. Would you like to do that?
What I was thinking of, the way of answering this question is about one of the advantages of a support group that is run by adults on the spectrum. And I think one of the advantages is that there's a culture that autistic people have, and it's a culture that is comforting to a lot of those on the spectrum, because the expectations aren't as when a support group is led by a professional, and it's and a lot of support groups are led by professionals, and they're just as good. It's just an autistic run support group is just different. That when it's the support group is led by or moderated by someone on the autism spectrum, it means that the cultural expectations aren't as, they're different. And sometimes people like that, you know, some autistic people find that comforting.
Thank you, Xenia. Chris, Afia, Marie, you have each probably been to groups that are run by professionals that are support groups and groups that are run by people that are on the autism spectrum. Would you like to share with what it's like at MAC for you?
Uh,
Xenia, would you
What-
please mute when you're not talking?
what it's like at Mac for me is I'm able to hear thoughts and ideas, stories of from people who are on the spectrum, and then also having a facilitator that's on the spectrum. They're able to understand what resources perhaps are needed for everyone on the spectrum, so we are able to get resources that are useful. Because I have gone to where the facilitator is not on the spectrum, and sometimes they give you resources that you can't use or that won't benefit you. And so it's just easier. I mean, it's more helpful when you're in like mind with people, to be able to have the options to participate, not participate, feel comfortable to participate. And I had all this planned in my head before, and then I started talking and it all went away. I should have wrote it down. That's another fault, that I have a great idea and then I don't write it down and it goes away. But yeah, that's basically how I like being a part of MAC, because even if my idea that I had goes away, I'm able to still be accepted and welcomed into the group, and everybody forgives me.
Thank you.
Good. Think I think I appreciate gutty, autistic people guiding and leading, because it makes me feel hugged and held, and my voice is prioritized, but I am not special or singled out, just another good human.
Yeah, I can't follow that up, man. That's it.
Well, thank you very much. Next question. What are some of the challenges that MAC has faced as an autistic adult run social group, if at all?
I'll take that one. My first time visiting MAC became my first time leading MAC. That was a challenge. I'm a performing artist and a public speaker, and I'm familiar with like leadership or go with it and keep the energy positive. So that's what I did that day. I was just like, well, I don't know why it hasn't started yet, but let's get this started. And then they were like, will you do it again next month? So that was one of the challenges, was a transition of leadership from some of the folks that began it to some of the folks that were going to continue it. Obviously, the pandemic was another one. Hello, camera. Switching from in-person, because that's how we began, face-to-face only, to online. And I don't just mean the technology of switching to online, but the energy, the accessibility. And then one other struggle that I have ongoing is scheduling people and watching for what are their talents, and then bringing in people, whether that's an autistic adult or a family member or a presenter from the Autism Society of Colorado. Or one time we had a group that was contracting with the TSA sensory designing group. TSA for when you go to the airport, Transit Security Administration might be what that stands for. There's a couple of challenges, and with that, I'll pass.
With me, I don't have the greatest executive functioning, and so it's hard for me to keep things going. I'm a person that does well with structure that's imposed from without. I have a hard time creating structure within. And so that's one of the difficulties that I have. And I thank Brian for being so gracious to step up. The original co-facilitator is now in San Francisco. He was as good, different talents, different way of doing things, but he was just as good. Is that when you don't have the best executive functioning, it's hard to keep things going. And I don't have a background in the arts. My background is political science. So the artistic background really does help.
Oops. I don't know if I'm a spectator or a side participant. I don't know what to call myself, but seeing how the group has been run the only 3 times that I've been there, it seems like it would require effort on the one who is kind of navigating the meeting to be prepared, so that they know how to keep it organized and stay on time and be able to produce information that would be utilized by the group. So I see the challenge that you have to definitely be prepared ahead of time for it, for each group, so that the interest is kept and everyone is able to benefit from gathering together.
I'm glad you shared that, Afia Marie. Can I ask you something about that?
Yeah.
Remember that exercise that you once were like, oh, I know a game that's real similar to that. Do you remember what that was we were talking about?
The Would You Rather game?
The Would You Rather. Yes, that's the one. So would you be willing to facilitate a section of that this coming Saturday in the second half in the games part?
Oh, yeah, I would.
And it's okay to say no. Just because we're on camera, you don't have to say yes.
No, I would actually like to do that. I didn't know when I was going to, because I know we had talked about it. But yeah, I would like to facilitate that.
Okay, you can do some would you rather. And then we had that lady come last time from the improvisation group for people with different abilities called Allprov. And she gave us a couple of cool games too. If you want to, you can incorporate some of those or just the games that you know.
Oh, that's right. There was a game that we didn't get a chance to play that I wanted to, where you start off the story. Yeah, I can put that together.
All right, you
And
got my
then
email.
I'll
you
be
got my
prepared
phone
ahead
now.
of time.
Cool. You got my email, you got my phone number. So if you want to reach out to prep or just come and play and help us play.
Yeah, I could do that.
Right on. Chris, did you want to throw anything in? We were asked about any challenges for MAC. The challenges could be about the group, like we've talked about organizing it, or it could be personally for you in relation to the group.
Find challenge in hugging my own self and feeling comfortable enough in my skin to share creativity and free thoughts with everyone, but it is a good challenge. Learning to be vulnerable is healthy and liberating good stuff. Good.
Thank you, Chris.
So now the final question I am going to ask our special guest today is, what are the benefits that you feel you have reaped from either being a participant and or a moderator of MAC?
All right, I'll kick that one off. I am regularly in training in life to survive, to plug in my resiliency. And it can be a really challenging life to live. I am privileged to be an artist and to tap into that and to welcome in my arts in literally everything I do. So one of the benefits that I've had is to be a leader in MAC, but also to support other people to be leaders. For example, you just saw me ask Afia Marie, would she lead a section? That conversation, I have that conversation every month and throughout the month with various other people. So it's nice to see people shine. And I'll pass.
I forgot what the question was. Can you please repeat it?
Yes. As autistic adults, what benefits do you feel that you have reaped as either being moderators and or participants of MAC?
And I can answer both of those because I've been a moderator and a participant, sometimes both at the same time. with being a moderator, it helps me to use talents that I don't realize that I have. Because one of the things I do is, I let people know when the meeting is, usually through Facebook and email, sometimes by phone calling. So, and also with moderating, just, it's not always, it just uses a different aspect of a talent that I don't always use with me, a participant. This is, I've made friends. Before COVID, I would travel to Aurora to hop on the light rail and travel to Aurora, spend some time there. It's just something that, that I enjoy. I learn something new. I hang around with people that I like, even if it's through Zoom because of COVID. So it gives me opportunities to let my talents in many ways come out.
I think
I'm
Alfie
gonna
Emery is going to share. There we go.
figure out this unmute thing eventually. I got to be a mock moderator because of a time misunderstanding. So that's why I got to play the game partially. That was fun. Being a moderator makes it makes you feel like a boss. And all the jobs I've ever had, I've always just been the worker bee, unfortunately, never the boss. Always miss it just by that much. So that it's fun. And then as a participant, I agree with Xenia, you get to make friends and communicate with other people on the level of understanding and care, and know that you're being supported by like-minded individuals.
Mac. I feel like being a part of MAC has given me the opportunity to lead and be trusted to teach and stand in my power as a poet. Very validating and very fulfilling. Love this group.